Hi guys, what's up? So first of all, I apologize for so much delay between videos, but just been scalping day in day out, and that's how it's been recently. Overall, been trading well. I've been sharing as much as I can with you guys, and of course, things have been insane, especially in the altcoin market. But I just want to make a quick Bitcoin update right now. Then whoever watches this video, just comment whatever altcoin you want me to cover in the comments below, and I will take a look at those. And I will make another video with an altcoin update and also cover how I trade altcoins on a scalping day-to-day perspective. All right. For Bitcoin, guys, so before I actually tell you my current bias, I have to tell you why I was shorting the front run of the 100K mark, right? So one of the reasons why I was shorting this was first of all, this is the 100K mark. We were basically at the all-time highs. We had this flush, and it's very important to know that whenever you have uh, something of this sort, where it's a round number and you have some sort of pullback, you try to push back up, then you have another pullback, you try to push back up, but you're not able to break that. And in terms of volume, you can see that you have a lot of sell volume delta. So a lot of people chasing the highs and trying to long it above 100K, because usually when you have a 100K break, okay, so one day ago we had a 100K break. So usually when you have a 100K break, this is what happens. You have this large impulse. So whenever you have a round number that everyone is looking forward to, uh, you will almost always, without fail, have an impulse like this. So that's why when we were up here, a lot of people were trying to long into that. And essentially, what you had on the lower time frames is our favorite pattern, like the three drives pattern, right? One drive, two drive, and a third drive, which is, I mean, this high doesn't necessarily have to be pretty high. It's just that it has to look like this, and it has to have decreasing volume as we move higher. Okay. And then we had this dump. So initially, I didn't want to short like all-time highs. I took profit here from longs that we had from lower, even on altcoins. Altcoins didn't react that much, so might have been a bad move on my end, but either way. So the reason I was able to do that was additionally looking at spot. So now ETFs usually execute through either OTC or just TVOPs, right? So when you see open interest rising this much, so even on a small, like this was a 2.6% correction, open interest was fluctuating a lot, right? Open interest went down about 6%, which is 12,000 Bitcoin now. So that's, the part of my thesis is that whenever you have small pullbacks, very large fluctuations, and the spot market is just selling off. So if there is no spot demand above 100K, uh, or at least like above, let's say 98,000, right? So above 98, 90, above 97, 98,000, we don't really have a lot of spot demand coming into the market. What happened on our $100,000 break was just price agnostic buying, and it could have been ETFs, it could have been Sailor, it could have been because like the Coinbase premium, which is the difference between the price at Coinbase versus the price at Binance, was extremely high. And that's what happened here. So we are seeing sort of the same pattern as we saw during this top, which led to like this 96 to 90K reset, which is like 8% drop. So we saw similar signs here, but it was at all-time high. Okay. Now, very difficult to short this. I shared my short entries and everything. So I didn't catch the Pico low. I closed it like around 96,000 because obviously nobody expected this to happen. Like the first uh, lower time frame 10K candle in Bitcoin history, and it was a red candle, thanks to the degens out there. So either way, we're seeing sort of the same signs, and that's why I have a feeling that we're going to have a little bit of a further correction, which is possible. I mean, towards maybe just some lower time frame levels, right? And if we look at the previous, now, okay, a lot of people like to look at history. So, uh, what we had uh, quite some time back was the 10K break. Okay. And I think some guy tweeted about it, and now everyone's obsessed with it. So when we broke through the 10,000 level, right? So this, yeah, this was the sort of daily candle that we had. Large impulse up, daily candle. No, hold on. This is it. This is it. Yup. So, people talked about how this was very volatile when we broke through like the 10K level. So I mean, this is exactly the kind of daily candle that we had now, right? It's just that you have these large falls and then price gets bought up quickly, large fall, price gets bought up quickly. So what I'm saying is that I don't necessarily expect price to crash, but something like this is possible right now because and also it's important to remember that right now we have too many people, like we have uh, countries buying Bitcoin, we have companies buying Bitcoin, and at the same time, we sort of have not traded the way we have traded right now ever in history. Okay, so Bitcoin, especially like during halvings, has never had this sort of price action, right? I mean, we just had this weird bull flag 8 month range for a while, and we've never traded like this before. Okay. Now, this sort of impulse up, yeah, sure, that is something that we've seen before. But price action, in my opinion, since the beginning of this year, since the ETFs were launched, has changed a lot. So when we have these impulses, even when there's like spot distribution going on, we usually have very strong momentum. So what I'm saying is, since we had this like very large impulse and then this range, so there is a possibility after like slowing down here a little bit, if you see this daily range, so if we just want to treat it, let's say as a range, right? So let's say we use this daily and we have a range here. So my suggestion is that it is extremely possible that if this is 12-hour demand here, sorry, daily demand here, right, and it has confluence with this level, so in my opinion, we could have a sort of pullback around these levels. So we could go all the way from here. If we lose the range lows, we could come back down, then move up. What we could also do is have some sort of a momentary reaction from 93,000, come back up, reject either from the range highs or the range lows, go down, deviate this. So we sort of can even go back down to like 85, 86, and it will still look bullish. Like we had a very large impulse, very strong impulse since this happened. So we can deviate this and then we can continue our run higher. And that would also coincide with end of year chop that we usually have. So this is the last in 2023. This is what our December and January looked like. Okay. So November, if you contrast like this price action, so same thing happened. We October, November, we just had this insane like parabolic run up. You can even actually draw a curve here. So you can literally look at how we had this parabolic run, one quick correction, right? And then another parabolic run. And you can literally draw a curve to these and it still works out. Okay, and this was then we broke down and had our range. So I believe that we have had our first parabola, right? If we look at the same time frames as early October, this is like almost the end of September. So if you look at this, we've had this run up, right? And it is possible for us to go through the same 20% pullback, or maybe like slightly less. It doesn't really matter, uh, right? So we can have that run, and then we can. Sorry, I don't expect it to go that low, but do this, and then we reclaim this level, and we move forward from here. Okay, that's my expectation. Uh, just going off pure intuition. And the same thing happened last year. So this was the beginning of December. So we had like a really strong opening in December. And then towards the end of the month, like people usually call it Santa Rally. So we had, this is 29 December. So towards the end of the year, we have this run up. And then another flush during the opening of the year. This is the pullback that I'm talking about. And then you have your yearly open rally. So right now, what you also have to remember is Donald Trump takes office in January 20th, I think. Okay. So this is a very important date. So even if we run up now, so what is possible is that we just have a shallow pullback. We go all the way to 108 or maybe 115, 120,000, right? Once we do that, there is a possibility of then breaking this parabola. Then we do this chop, and then we continue another parabola after that. So his inauguration ceremony, I expect some sort of a run up into that, especially on altcoins, right? And once we have that run up, I'm pretty sure that we have some sort of sell the news, and obviously then we continue back up. Okay. Uh, Another thing is just yesterday we went above 100,000 again. So the first time we did it, it was great. The second time, it's kind of like the first time was like really strong spot buying and then leverage piled on. We flushed out the leverage on that candle. We had almost $1 billion in liquidations. But when you have $1 billion in liquidations, when that open interest is gone, to sustain, like people usually say, okay, so if open interest gets removed, it's great. But I don't necessarily believe that. Okay, a leverage flush is nice, but this was $1 billion in liquidations. Once you have $1 billion in liquidations, even if you have a V recovery, price will take some time to consolidate because that open interest is gone, right? It's not like people got stopped out and then they'll get back in again. $1 billion in liquidation means that the people don't have money anymore. The speculators don't have money anymore, right? So just from Bitcoin alone, between these two candles, you had 250 million liquidations. So in my experience, when you have, and the follow-up was sort of low volume. So I saw a lot of people talk about how this is like a really healthy move. I don't necessarily believe that because, yeah, sure, you did not have a lot of longs chasing. We just had longs chasing at the highs, but this is a supply zone. Okay. Now, we covered this in price action. We did not just reject from anywhere. We had a very high volume move up. And after we had a very high volume move up, we had a very strong rejection from this supply zone. Okay. So once we rejected from the supply zone, it is only reasonable, excuse me, that we come all the way down here, sweep, and then we see what happens. The same as the range play. So that's my bias on Bitcoin. In terms of altcoins, like for example, yeah, I was looking at Aave, I believe. Okay, I even LTC or anything like altcoins still look good. Like altcoins haven't flushed. We haven't had that large pullback. This is just my scalping setup. I don't necessarily cover this on stream because I don't know how to explain all of this to you. But I mean, altcoins have not flushed properly, and I'll cover the altcoins that you guys want me to. Now, this is like the Solana setup, the Solana chart I was talking about. Everyone's still so bullish on it that okay, the trend is strong or whatever, but it's not okay. We're just leaving these highs like this, and we keep rejecting off this level. I don't necessarily think that's bullish. Once we have a few closes above this, then we can talk about moon. Okay. For now, it's quite possible that we just come all the way down here and take some liquidity here. So either way, I'll cover altcoins in the next video. Comment below what you want me to cover, and then we'll go from there. All right.